What's up, everybody? Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. This is Brandon from Brainy Pixel coming to you with the answer for last week's Ask Me Anything question. I was sick last week, so this is for December the 26th, 2025. So we're going back in time. So get in your Wayback Machine, and we're going to be transported back in time for those of you who remember the Wayback Machine. Bonus points to you. All right, so here's the question. This is from James Winegardt on Facebook. It's a great question. What advice would you give for setting aside time to work on your projects, especially with life having unexpected moments? Yeah, amen, brother. Like being sick. So the first piece of advice, I've got a ton of advice here, but I'm going to try and keep this to a short video. And there are some similar questions on this I need to answer as well that people have already posted. But my first piece of advice would be to give yourself grace. Just like last week, right? I don't get sick often, but I was really not in any shape to be on camera last week and feeling really bad. And so I just said, hey, look, can't do it this week. So give yourself grace, and then don't beat yourself up about giving yourself grace, right? That's what a lot of people don't do. They'll kind of give themselves grace, and then they'll start giving themselves a guilt trip about, oh, well, I didn't do it, so I'm really stinky and I'm horrible and blah, blah, blah. So don't do that. But also, don't give yourself too much grace, right? So don't give yourself so much grace that you don't do anything ever, right? That you're just always slacking and you're really just sliding by. It's kind of like the whole Christian freedom thing that Paul talks about. Anyway, so that's the first thing, right? Is give yourself grace. But in terms of setting a schedule, I would say treat it like it's a part of your job. There's not many of us who don't get up and go to work, on a regular basis. There are some, but there aren't many of us. So whatever your project is, work it into your week at a time when you think that it's most logical that you will actually be able to sit down and complete that thing, or stand up or whatever, because maybe it's a woodworking project. Maybe you don't need to sit down. But, obviously don't schedule it at, 3 a.m. in the morning, unless you're just one of those people who loves getting up at 3 a.m. and knocking stuff out. But schedule it at a time when you think that it's pretty probable that you'll be able to complete it, get up and complete that thing. And then make it part of your job, right? You might not be getting paid for it, but you'll get paid in dividends in terms of like, awesome, I got that thing done, I completed that project, whatever. So you're kind of paying yourself, but not just with money. Another tip that I would give you give folks is that take a project and break it down into bite-sized chunks. So for me, that chunk is 15 minutes, right? I literally break a project down into 15-minute increments, because typically 15 minutes is something I can squeeze in here or there all along my week. Right after a meeting, right before a meeting, something like that. It's easy for me to jump into that 15-minute space and knock out a little portion of a project, and then all those portions stack up, and before you know it, I've got something complete and done. 15 minutes might not be your thing, right? It may be an hour or whatever. Some people take longer to kind of get into the creative zone. But whatever your period is, whatever that segment of time that you feel you can rapidly get into the creative space and then get something accomplished, break your project up into those chunks and then schedule those chunks at those logical times, and you'll see pretty rapidly that you're getting your projects done. So understanding what those chunks are is a whole different question and a whole different answer, but those are the three pieces of advice that I could give you. So give yourself grace when bad things happen, when stuff is unexpected and it crops up, because it will. Schedule stuff logically and break your project into achievable portions or chunks of time that you think you can actually complete, and then rinse and repeat. Thanks for the question. Keep those questions coming, and I'll keep answering them. Thank you guys so much, and y'all be blessed. Happy 2026.